Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far.
There we go. Hey, everyone, it's Marianne from the New York City Organization of Public Service Retirees. Today is Friday, April 17th, and it is 5 p.m. As you can see to my left, is a candidate that we have been supporting in this new battle for District 3 since Eric Botcher left for the state elected. And she is running for that district. She is a supporter of the retirees. She's a supporter of protecting our healthcare. She is a supporter of many of the same issues that we've been working with other elected officials in her district. Knowing that she's got places to go and people to see, she wanted to stop and see us. So we put her at the top of the hour just to speak with you. So I want to bring her on so she can speak to all of you about her race and about the dates and times and events. So welcome, Layla. You just have to unmute your microphone.
Thank you so much, Marianne. It's a pleasure to sit with you for a few minutes before I go back on the campaign trail. This is really super exciting. Early voting starts tomorrow. Yay, we're finally getting there. We've had a fantastic time on the campaign trail, meeting so many of you and talking to you about the issues that you're concerned with. And one of them, of course, is healthcare for municipal retirees. We are a huge municipal retiree community. Many teachers who live in our district and other municipal retirees live in Chelsea, in the West Village, and Hell's Kitchen. And this is really an issue that concerns all of you. And quite frankly, it is an issue that concerns everybody because it set such a terrible precedent,
right,
that we need to stop that. So super excited. Early voting starts tomorrow. The polls open at 9 a.m. And we'll close at 5. We're holding a rally. We're super psyched about that at 11:30 at Elliott Chelsea Public Housing. You can meet us on 25th Street between 9th and 10th Avenues. We will be there with a great lineup of speakers. Council member Christopher Marte, who is the lead sponsor on Intro 1096, and who's a big supporter of the campaign, who has endorsed the campaign on day one. He will be there speaking. We will also be joined by Senator Tom Duane, Councilmember Justin Brennan, and community leaders, including tenant leaders and activists. It's going to be fun, festive. We'll have coffee, we'll have donuts, we'll have cookies. Come by. And the beauty is that it is right across from a polling site. Of course, we will be within the proper distance. We will not encroach on any area we're not supposed to be. But join us. It's going to be fun. Speak with your neighbors. Talk about the issues, and then go and vote. It's going to be right there. We are really excited to turn out the vote, and we want to see you at the ballot box. Democracy is alive, and we need to keep it this way. Democracy is a contact sport, so we need you to show up and go and vote.
That's fantastic. And as a reminder to anyone who's in Lower Manhattan District 3, Layla is the only candidate that has been supporting and would protect retirees and supports what we're fighting for. She's also been with Councilmember Marte on the No More 24, which has been another one of our projects, and joint support with cross organization. So I appreciate that. Now, she does want to let you know that if you don't know where to go to vote, because early voting does start tomorrow, You can go to vote.nyc, and I did put the link in the chat, both on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can go here, and once you're on this page, you can scroll down and you can find your polling site right here, and it'll tell you where to go to vote and the times that those polling places are open. You can also go to her website and find out. Let me scroll back up. And go to her website and look for either volunteering or donating to her campaign and what her events are, so that you could meet up with her as well. So hopefully you will get that message. I will put it in an email, so don't worry. So you'll have all of that as well, and can help her and go and see her and go out and vote.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Marianne, for having me.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. So I'm really glad to have been able to have connected you really quick with her, because early voting, absolutely, Long Beach absolutely makes a difference. And she just reached out to me a little while ago and said, hey, just wanted to remind you that our early voting starts tomorrow. And she has these events as well. Saturday, the 18th, rally in Chelsea, 11:30 in the morning, 415 West 25th Street. You'll see Justin Brannan, Tom Dwayne, Chris Marte. There's many other local officials that are coming out to support her election. And we want to make sure that you guys in District 3 get out and vote. So super, super important, that you do that. Hey, Pat, nice to see you. Hello, Laura. Yes, and she's been committed from the get-go. You saw she did our commitment on our political website. She signed the pledge to us. We have been supporting her now for, I guess, just over a month. So we need to make sure that we get enough people in the city council to keep supporting what we're doing. So if you're in Lower Manhattan, District 3, your council member used to be Eric Botcher, please come out and vote starting tomorrow. Get out to your polls and make sure that you get out and use that right. Let me take a quick jump over to Instagram. Okay, nothing there. No questions. Okay, so tomorrow, I'll be on a show called Operators on the Loose. These are podcasters. You had some of them on with me the other day on our show. Now I'm going on their show to help reach out to the transit retirees and help them with their mission. So that'll be tomorrow. You can find us on YouTube or Facebook. And I think that's at 8 o'clock. I will confirm the time, but that will be then. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was there's been a lot of conversation about some of the newspaper articles you've been reading about the comptroller wanting to use $4 billion for housing. So I want to break some of this down, because you've heard the videos that we did about the unfunded UAL proposal to re-amortize, like refinance that unfunded liability for pension. And you also heard the option that they were looking at doing in the city council budget with pension obligation bonds, POBs, which we do not support. And we don't support either one of those options. We know last year that it was put into the governor's bill at the request of the mayor and the UFT. And it only affected then. The bill was for NYCERS, New York City Employees Retirement System, as well as the teachers' retirement system, and BERS, B-E-R-S, Board of Ed. So it did not include fire or police. The city council proposal, that bill, by the way, last year did not pass, if you remember. The city council put it in their proposed budget as an alternative in case all the other things that they had proposed failed. And it's an option. I don't think it should be an option, and I'm disappointed to have seen that. But then, of course, knowing who the parties are that are lobbying the city council for both the UFT and DC 37, I can understand why that got in there. That should never have been an option or a solution. To speak about what the comptroller said yesterday. So going back to the 90s under Liz Holtzman, I believe, it was started to use pension monies to invest in housing. This is not the first time that this was done. If you actually remember your labor history, we had talked a couple times about unions actually building housing, like Electchester Local 3 buildings in Queens. So this goes back to Local 3 back in right after the war, 1949-ish, where they used union monies to build housing because there was a critical housing shortage then as well. And this was built by union labor for union families. They are owners. They're like cooperatives, and you own your apartment. It's a great way to get people, housing that they could afford. Now, do I have concerns? Yes, I do. I absolutely do have concerns. What are those concerns? Well, you want to make sure that whenever there's money that is pulled out of the pension system, that the person giving it to whatever it is, and in this case, it's the AFL-CIO HIT, which is their trust fund, and that they would be investing that money for rehabilitation of some apartments and new construction of some apartments. And it's not just for union people, it's for anybody. So we want to make sure that the controller is still getting reports, maybe on a quarterly basis. We want to find out, would you be getting reports? Have you been getting reports? What he's looking at in this process, according to the articles that I've read, because I have not spoken with him yet, we did reach out and we said, hey, listen, we want to bring you on our show to talk about this. It would be able to allow you to explain it more in detail and let people understand it and ask questions. So we reached out to them today. We haven't heard back, but it is Friday. Hopefully next week we hear from them. Otherwise, I'll message them again. We want to know, is there a reporting process that's consistent? We don't want it to be like the Health Insurance Stabilization Fund, that before anybody had eyeballs on it, it was like defunct. So we want to know what that's about. And it's also twice what they usually give. And in doubling it, it's usually like $1.9 billion. This is $4 billion. So we really need to see that. You can Google search AFL-CIO HIT, and that's their housing investment trust. And you can look at who's on the board. There's a lot of people, there's officers. And maybe you know some of those people. If you do, let us know. But we would like to speak to any of them. But we did also reach out to the controller. We want to find out, why is he doubling it? And then what kind of security is there to know that they're getting that return on their investment? How would that return happen? So that money from the pension systems, all 5, by the way, would go into this AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust. And then they would invest the money how they're instructed to, in what they're going to be doing, for what kind of properties they're going to be developing. So now, while the money is sitting in the trust, it's earning money, obviously, because it's being invested. But then as there's bills for construction, paying labor, building, supplies, acquiring property, etc., then those are expenses. Now, this has a 40-year amortization, so they're expecting to see a return on their money within 40 years. That's a pretty long time. I don't know with the other ones that were done in the past. This was another question. Were they always done at 40 years, or were they done at more or less? So we want to know that too. And there's going to be a period of time when, over that time, that they're having expenses, but there is nothing coming in other than the balance of the investment in the trust, because they're not collecting rents yet until those apartments are rented out. How long will that be? So it is talking, I mean, you talk about a mortgage over 40 years, that's a long time that you want to make sure that eventually, you're getting your money back. So yes, 100%, absolutely. And I see your question, and the answer is yes. You've not heard me say anything to the opposite. So we're not ready yet to talk about legislation. So give me a minute. But this is why this is important, that someone's watching, because no one was watching the Health Insurance Stabilization Fund, and that this was literally in the hands of the Municipal Labor Committee, mostly the top 5 top 5 unions in the executive board of the MLC, UFT, DC 37, CWA, Sanitation, and Local 237 Teamsters, and then the last 3 mayors. So in knowing that this went south pretty quickly with no one, and that OLR literally lied to the comptroller over the years, this is a problem. So those are our questions. Now, what I might ask you is, if you have other questions that I've not addressed, email us at the org, retirees@nyc.org, and tell us what your question is. If it's something we can answer, we will. If not, we'll add it to the list to ask the comptroller. But we are trying to get him to come on our channel here or on our WBAI channel, and hopefully, start to talk to us. Pension borrowing to build affordable housing. Exactly how many New York City residents need such housing? Well, actually, they're saying that there really is 1% availability of apartments to rent. 1% is nothing. And that the rents in New York City were averaging between $3,000 and $8,000 a month. Is this means tested? I don't know what you mean by that. There is no housing for people to rent. And the ones that are there are too expensive for people to rent. Is this done with new development and reserving a percentage for means testing? Again, don't know what you mean by means testing, but it is some of the apartments that they're looking to build would be at market value and others would be at a lower income level. Also, what is the amount borrowed to build versus so that was also in the articles. It was like, I don't know, $365 billion pension system, and they were taking out $4 billion. So that's the questions so far that I'm seeing for that. Okay, let's move on. So hopefully that explains that. Last night, we did our transit edition Thursday live to help them understand their plan and answer some of their questions for them. That was a really good, I guess, hour and a half that we were on. So I'll put on some of those clips so that you can go back in and look at that. Legislation. We are still working on city and state legislation, so there's nothing really to update you there. Our bills are moving right along, and as soon as we have more to share on that, we will definitely tell you. There's also some movement on the state side, and there is some movement on the city side. Just give us a little bit more time, and then I'm sure things will ramp up pretty quickly. No movement on any of the court cases yet. The resolution for the copay case is still kind of moving slowly, but of course the city seems to do everything ass backwards these days. What am I missing? Fundraising. So we are going back into fundraising mode because we now need to step up, because we're going to be needing to go back to Albany and also do rallies and such here in the city. So I'm not looking to push the people who've already been supporting our organization. We need to make a push to get the people who've been following us, who've been benefiting from us and not donating. So even if everyone started to do a recurring donation to the organization, like $10 a month or $20 a month or $15 a month, whatever you could afford, those people who are not donating. So we're going to draft a flyer up this weekend. I was trying to get it done today, but I decided to stay outside and play with my bus a little bit. And of course, one thing led to another, and I had a bunch of hiccups and I had to keep running to the store. But I will promise you that I will get that newsletter out with a flyer that you could post on your social media to recognize that we are the largest retiree organization, not just in the city, but the state, and that we have successfully been fighting the city of New York and beating them back in trying to force us into predatory medical plans, Medicare Advantage, privatizing Medicare, and then, of course, hitting us with these copays that are basically crippling us. So this would help us be able to do all the things that we now need to do to advance to this next level. I'm hoping to God that at least this year we can get both of these bills introduced and at least one of them passed, and I'd be very happy about that. But with now spring here, we are starting to do our first fundraiser for 2026 and get things moving, our spring fundraiser, and try to bring in consistently money on a monthly basis, even small amounts. Because if you get a lot of people, remember, we started this grassroots, $25 a month was our ask. Please help us out with that. And And for all of you that have been with us for the beginning, we could never have gotten this far without you. And for that, we are eternally grateful. Now we need to sustain what we're building and move the legislation into the next level. And so that's going to take a little bit more people to help us move it. Because I think at this time, it's time for us to bring out the big guns. This is not satisfactory to allow us to keep fighting this year after year and then expecting people to listen. They're not. So now is the time that we need to escalate this. So for those of you that have been benefiting from staying in traditional Medicare, not being forced off traditional Medicare and forced into Medicare Advantage, even for the Florida retirees who love their Medicare Advantage plan, we've helped you keep that Medicare Advantage plan because as Bob and I have always said, when we go to these events, if the city was successful in forcing us into Medicare Advantage, the Medicare Aetna plan that you have today would be gone. And let me explain why. Aetna offers two different Medicare Advantage plans, a New York, New Jersey metro area plan and a Florida plan. The Florida plan was supposed to have copays and it was supposed to have a premium. But because most of the people on the Aetna Medicare Advantage plan are in Florida, they decided to suspend the copays and suspend the premium. But New York City Metro has that. So we want to let you know that you have also been benefiting from us. Whether you like it or not, it is a cold, hard fact. They were eliminating all choices of plans, including the one you were on, and putting on the one that the contract was there for. The contract implemented copays on everything. And then because we fought back the prior authorizations that they were hitting you with in that plan, which that's when the insurance company becomes the gatekeeper between your doctor and the care that he's telling you you need, then the city was sustaining a charge on a monthly basis per person for that. And it was $15 per person per month. So they were still sustaining a cost for a plan that they thought was going to be free. And it ended up not being. And remember, who was in control of that? The MLC. So no, I am not looking to put my healthcare back in the hands of a bunch of people that did this to us. This needs to stay as a federal health benefit. So please understand, this fight is now going into overdrive and we are moving into the next level to get these things done. And we could definitely use the support of people who've been watching that we've been successful and have sat on the sidelines. It is you that we want to help join this fight to protect us and going into the next level. So very, very, very important. Robert, I don't have an answer on that today because I did not look that up. If I knew you wanted the answer, I would have looked that up, but I did not. Sorry. I literally only came in about a half hour ago. Yes, and Judy, I absolutely know the copays are really hard, and this legislation will help pass that, fix that, but we need them to listen. For those of you that reached out, Michelle, I know you reached out and told us that there was an interview on Sunday, I believe. We have also, we're trying to get our voices heard for that as well. So Michelle, if you're listening, thank you for the tip. That is working its way to where it's got to go, so that hopefully if I don't have that voice, someone has the ability to ask that question. Let's see. My friend has $1,000 deductible on a disadvantage plan. Oh yeah, that's just there. You hear some really horrible stuff. Anyone this affects should donate. Would love to post form letter. So I'm going to draft up something literally when I'm off of this call. I will do that first and I'll sit here and draft that flyer. I will put it in the newsletter because I still also do want to put up the Layla reminder that we are supporting her, as well as her events tomorrow with the link so that you guys can go out, including the website for the where to find your voting place if you're in District 3. So this is a special election, right? And special elections usually have low turnout, which is why it's really, really important. John, I'm really glad to see you. So what I would like to do, thank you for this comment. Well, we have tens of thousands of social media followers. Yes, we do. And we have almost 120,000 people in our email membership database. Everyone donate regularly, no matter, no one else is fighting for us. 100% correct. But John, listen, I want to get you and John Murphy, and I'm looking for some more finance experts. I want to do a round table on this pension investment, housing investment. The city has been doing this since the 90s, so this is nothing new. He's increasing the amount that he's using, that they're giving to the trust. And I also want to talk about what is the reporting, what is the checks and balances to make sure that the AFL is actually using the money the way that they're saying they can, what they're directed to. So I want to, if you know other people, please ping me, because I want to put this roundtable together. We sent out an email to the comptroller asking to meet with us about this issue. And as soon as I hear back, I will let you know. That's part of what's been going on. We are going to step up that fundraiser with this newsletter. Yes, William, if you're here, I will do a, and I'm going to write it down so I don't forget. I will do a thermometer. And I would like to try to pull in, honestly, an additional like $30,000 a month is what I'm being told we will need to push this ahead to do the things that we're thinking about doing. So if we can get there, that would be pretty fantastic, because our since we've not been pushing and reminding people, our donations have been slipping, but we do want to step that up now. And so this is going to be the inaugural event. So that's really all I have for you guys. Speaker Menon has not said anything against what we're doing. So we met with her staff. They understand the needs, which is way more than we got with the last speaker. But since I don't have a bill number yet, and she hasn't seen the bill, but we've just spoken about it, just give me a little bit more time. Hopefully, we'll hear for that. Grants. So I don't know of any grants for a 501c5, which is what we are. We're kind of like, we're like a union. I don't know if there's any grants for that, but if you know of any grants, let me know. We are building a 501c3 arm that might be able to qualify for some of that in helping our members. So let me know if that is something you have some ideas about. I'd be interested to talk to you about that if you know of something. But basically, that's it. Did you get news coverage for Lobby Day? Yes, we did. It was in Work Bites, and there was some social media posts about that as well. But yes, it does. Hey, William, I know you always ask me about the thermometer. Yes, I wrote it down. I will do that too. But yes, there, without a bill number, it gets a little hard because you're referring to something that doesn't yet exist. So I wasn't really pleased that we were in Albany without a bill number, but at least, we're moving in the right direction there. So I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about that. I know that we'll eventually get to where we need to be, and people will get that information. We'll get the bill number out, and that would get more attention when you're calling, because then you will have homework. Bennett Fisher is the epitome of ineffectiveness, in my opinion. Well, and of course, they still haven't supported anything that we've been doing, which is what he ran on to get elected, which I truly am disappointed in as well. Yes, until a bill has a number, right? They're not going to commit to it because they haven't read it. They haven't seen it. There's nothing for them to hang there. Yes, I will support that. Yeah, so just give me a little bit more time. I should have more information for you on the state by like Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I'll let you know that the process for the city council bill could take a little bit more time, but we were told that we should know something by the end of next month. So give me a little bit more time with that one. But remember, the first time we did our bill in the city council, it didn't get introduced till June, July. So we're moving in the right direction. Has the language of either bill been formalized yet? So we had passed both of our drafts through legal. Mostly the city council and the state bill now mostly mirror each other. The state bill does, the language is slightly different. And of course, we added back the language that nothing in either of these bills will impair a union for collectively bargaining for their members. And that's because retirees are not in the union bargaining unit. So we're hoping that that also helps us with the city council side. And we are picking up a lot more support. And we're also hearing that the UFT and DC-37 are back to their same old shenanigans. And we're hoping that that changes pretty soon as well. Or maybe we'll have more to do in terms of homework. And we've been strategizing that as well. So hang in there. My elected officials backed the bill last year, and if they're already on the state bill, most likely they'll get right back on, or those are the first calls you make, or the people that supported you the last time to get back on. They will probably get back on this time, and the city council side as well. But just remember, we lost a few people in the city council due to term limits and moving on to other pastures. So. Yes, and thanks for suggesting the watch of Drop Dead City. Haven't finished it yet, but it was gripping. I'm telling you, it was a great documentary. I'm going to see if I could reach out to the gentleman that did it and have him come and talk to us, because I think it was a really well done, and it was the son of Felix Rohatyn, who was in the government at the time that did this. So. Does Mulgrew know that? Well, I'm going to tell you, yes, he does. He absolutely does know. And of course, you all heard me say that we did a video and we used Mulgrew's meeting, where Mulgrew said if our bill had the unfortunate luck to pass, that he was going to sue. So when we brought it to several attorneys, not just our lawyers, they said, let him, because he will look like a fool. First of all, he said that the bill, that he could be sued by his own members for failure to duty to represent. This bill doesn't impact any current union member. This bill only protects current retirees who are not in the union bargaining unit. So if any of his union members, active employees, decided to sue the union over our legislation that protects us, they would look quite damn foolish, because we are not in the union. And I am not represented by the UFT, which, of course, they keep making sure I remember I am not UFT. And, of course, neither of any of you. You can be a loyalty or legacy member, and this is why we keep saying, go to the union contract. It's on the website, on the UFT website. And then look at Article 1 at who that union represents. It's not you. Then you can go and look at the Constitution or the bylaws to the UFT RTC, the retired teacher chapter. In order to be a member of the retired teacher chapter, there's a process, and it specifically outlines the duties and the responsibilities and who can be a member. The union has control of the retiree association. Why? Because they don't want you, the retiree, to get something that they don't want you to have, because it would be less that they would get. Remember, even Alan Klinger, the lawyer to the MLC, said, well, that bill's not illegal, but what it would do is that it would be that the city would give less to the active workers, to the unions, if it has to pay more for those retirees. That's how we interpret it. The video is memorialized. I'm not getting rid of that video. That is literally the lawyer for the Municipal Labor Committee, the UFT, DC-37, CWA, Sanitation, Teamsters 237, and a whole bunch of other ones. So where can you watch the documentary? On Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it there. I think you'll really enjoy it. And as I said last night, as you're watching it, watch the dynamics with all the elected officials and the other unions and Al Shanker, who ran the UFT at the time. Al was being pressured to do this, to give them. And I love how the teachers try to raise him up on this pedestal like he was the savior. I mean, there was a lot of dynamics into why they went to the teachers' pension system to help finance some of this debt. And in some of this, they also do highlight that. I'm not going to give it all away. You need to go back and watch it. I watched it twice. When you rent it on Prime, you've got I think 48 hours to watch it. I went back and watched it twice. It was that good, and I kept picking up things that I missed on the first time I watched it. So that's your homework, because I think you'll enjoy it. Donate, everyone. Let's get this done. It's been almost 5 years. Amen, sister. I'm wanting to get this done too. DSNY retired. We are grateful for you. Thank you, Sal, and thank you for including us in the things that you all the groups that you run. It is important that active workers start paying attention to their retirees, because we are fighting a battle that if they don't pay attention to today and get involved to stop their leadership from hurting retirees, then they are going to be in the same situation when they are here. So direct them to our website, nycretirees.org. Tell them, become a member and help us with this battle. Help us share this information, because if they're passing costs on to us today, they're trying to change our healthcare today, tomorrow, they're going to screw them too. And this is what we keep saying. So, and some of that's been coming out, right? I mean, we kept saying to them, you have this new NYC EPPO plan. That $1 billion in savings is still hidden. There's nothing in there that tells them how that will be done. And if it doesn't, what will happen? What are the repercussions of not meeting the $1 billion? Again, were they that cocky that they thought automatically assumed that they were going to meet $1 billion savings? What will happen if it doesn't? But it's not there. And then, of course, now, and let me see if there's been any update on, oops, that's not where I want to go. I want to go to NYC. Okay, so if you go to the OLR website, we ask them to put up a statement about the Presbyterian fight, which encompasses anyone on the emblem plan. So it says, as of, I think this was yesterday, the day before, and New York Presbyterian remains in the Emblem Health Network through April 21, 2026, while negotiations continue. There is a link that brings you to the Emblem website, but it doesn't really say any more to that. Remember, this does not impact anyone on Medicare, senior care. If you're on senior care, this doesn't impact you. So if you're on like the HIP VIP plan, that does impact you. It's an emblem plan. But for those on traditional Medicare, Medicare is your primary. And this is why we keep fighting for this. So that is still extended. I'm sure next week they'll come back with another extension, because on one of the other pages, they've already said April 30th. So I'm thinking that this was just they were wishful thinking that this would be done, but see what they say. Yes, donate's almost been 5 years. Do you think Mamdani will eventually talk to retirees? My retired colleague said he's only been in office 100 days. Yes, but Long Beach, he's been in office 100 days. He's met with Donald Trump twice, and he met with Mr. Katsimatides, who runs the supermarkets and 77 ABC, who would normally not have ever wanted to probably talk to this man ever. But because he's a billionaire rich guy that owns supermarkets and has a radio station, he spoke to him. Well, we're not poor, but we're not rich either. We have a radio station. We have a Friday Night Live. We also have over 116,000 people 120,000 people in our membership database. We represent 250,000 people in court. He should be speaking to us. We are bigger than any union in the city of New York. We are bigger than the UFT. We are bigger than DC 37. Yes, the mayor should be speaking to the New York City retirees. Do you know why? It's respectful. You earned it, and you ran this city. So that's why the mayor should be speaking to you. So we're going to keep fighting for that. Hopefully that happens soon. Otherwise, he'll hear from us eventually. We will be getting back together, doing our rallies like we usually do at City Hall. Have no fear. Michelle Keller keeps itching, like, when are we getting back out there, Marianne? And we will. Don't worry. And there's no accountability on their end. Yes, I'm fully aware. Alan Klinger is a sniveling villain, the Gollum of UFD. You're always very creative, Robert. I think everyone should listen to the stream you gave multiple times. Yesterday's stream you gave multiple times as well. The info you addressed and explained it was gold. Thank you, Laura. And, for them to have invited us to do that, would you please help us and come and talk to us about this? It's really important. Look, they have a new union leader, and that union leader is really working very hard to make sure that he gets all of the things in place. Harry, when he left a lot of things that he had to handle. And that's a tough thing when you walk in having to represent active workers. You're having crisis with your welfare fund because of what the previous leader did. They were banking on a stabilization fund, kicking in money to the welfare fund. Now that is dead, right? However, some of the unions were smart, and like we'd been saying, they should never have been pulling money out of the welfare fund, out of the stabilization fund for the welfare funds. They should have been negotiating that in their bargaining. And they were one of the first unions, I believe, that went back to do that and put the money that they were not getting from health insurance stabilization into their welfare fund contribution. Because remember, the union only administers those benefits. The union does not finance them. They are financed by the city. Now, every time that they go to bargaining, every union negotiates with the city on how much money the city will put into that union's welfare fund that pays their prescription, vision, dental, hearing, whatever it is that they get. That's what they needed to do, is do that at the table instead of taking it out of stabilization. That was a really bad move that they did. But the MLC did admit that they intentionally imploded the stabilization fund. However, they didn't tell anyone outside of the executive board that. And that is where transparency failed. There was no transparency. And the comptroller revealed that in his report. There was no transparency in the MLC's decision-making, and it was done by these small little bodies. So the tripartite committee, the steering committee, and none of that was shared, unfortunately. Let me see if there's still no questions over on Instagram. Okay. So let's see. I recall hearing something about Mayor Mamdani approving the transfer of drug and PHI data to United. Yep, he did. And I don't know if he recognizes that his drug data is being shared, but we also have that question for him as well. AI database for the passage of NYC. Would you know if he changed his position on this? Nope, I'm not aware that he has changed a position. The position I am still aware of is that he supported it. And whether his approval is critical. No, it's the approval was done by the unions passing the NYC EPPO. It was hidden in the contract. And still to this day, everyone will say, oh, it's in the contract. Well, of course it's in the contract. Give me the provision, because we have the contract. Of course it's redacted, but it's the same contract the unions have. So if it's in the contract and you got to see it, was it in there? Because when we looked at it and we've read it and our attorneys looked at it, we're not finding where it specifically allows for that. This is in the redacted text. So by them saying that it's in the contract, it is, but no one ever saw that language, and that's wrong. Carol, I love you too, Carol. Yes, Tina, absolutely. You tell it. Mamdani is not attending the Met Gala. Okay. Well, I wasn't invited either. He needs to know how many live in New York City. About 3/4 of you do. I can tell you that. You should go to the Met. I think the tickets were like $500,000. I don't make anywhere near that. You're welcome, Chucky. Yes, I understand. I said the same thing last night. Dennis Schuck is a good guy. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. We kept saying this as well. People, I think, were looking at me to attack the guy, and all I could tell you is if he's willing to listen, because look, I mean, anytime you get a new job, there's a learning experience, right? You're going to make some hiccups. There's going to be some roadblocks. You're going to have some problems, but overcome them. Like, here's a perfect example. I mean, and this doesn't have anything to do with benefits, but I took on the job yesterday, a couple of days ago, of I wanted to get out of my house, out of my computer, away from all of these electronics and working on this all the time. And everyone said, go outside. Last Friday, they tell me, go outside. I said, I went outside. I was picking weeds in my garden and getting ready for spring. And I was so excited to be picking weeds and making the flower bed look beautiful. I had picked up poison ivy. And I was like, oh, shit, this is not going to be good. So I dropped it in the garbage can. I ran in the house. I washed myself really good with soap. And I didn't realize I must have touched my shirt, because it was a long sleeve shirt, with the vine. And then not realizing whatever oils from this wretched plant was on my skin. And I had gone like this. And now I have poison ivy all across the side of my face, which thank God you don't really see too much here. And I said, well, the hell with that. And then my friends said, okay, go work on your bus. That's safer. I said, okay, I'm going to work on my bus. So I need to change the brakes. I never did brakes on my bus. Like it's like 5 years ago I did brakes. I don't remember that for shits. So I said, all right, I'm going to try. So my friends came over and they helped me get started. They told me what to do. I have to order parts and they're going to come. So yesterday I was outside. I'm turning on my music. I'm sitting in my garage, taking my brakes apart in the back. And then I needed a tool that I didn't have. Like I needed a specific socket, and everything on this bus is in metric. So I went to my little toolbox. I looked and I needed a 17 millimeter socket, a 13 millimeter socket, which I had the 17 as well. And then I needed an 11 millimeter wrench. Okay. Had all of that. Well, where I had to get the line out of, there was a brake line that goes into the back of the drum brakes. There's a metal line. And in order to get the wrench around that and not strip the bolt, you have to use this, what they call a line wrench, which kind of looks like a wrench, but it's open a little bit so it could slip around the metal brake line. So I didn't have that. I'm struggling with the other wrench, a regular wrench, and I was stripping it. Needed the right tool. Had to go and get the right tool. So I did, went out, got it, came back home, got it off. Very, very happy. Now today, last night I went to the still and finished to get the last couple of bolts that was holding these, like they're called star adjusters. And they're these little wheels that adjust the brake pads so that you have the right pressure when the brake pads hit the inside of the drum to slow the bus down. Well, I didn't have the right one. All I had was, I think it was like a 7/16 or something, which I really needed the right 17 millimeter. I found it digging through my box. I found the 17 millimeter. I get it on, and then I cracked the first nut and it got loose. I was like, yes, this is great. Now here's your hiccup. I turned it again and I heard another crack. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And I looked at the socket and I was like, well, I'll be damned. Looking at the socket, and I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if I can blow it up. But there's 3 cracks, 1, 2, and 3. So shit's going to happen in this world, right? You're thinking you're getting this done. And I was like, now what? Now, of course, the opening keeps opening a little bit because there's 3 cracks in my socket. Today, I had to run back out. And I said, well, the only good thing about doing these projects is it's like Christmas. I get a new toy. So I went to the store, picked up a socket set that's metric. That goes from, I don't know what it was, 9 millimeters, because I really need the 10. I really need the 13. And I need the 17 now. So shit is going to go wrong even when you're doing the right thing the right way. And of course, you also learn if you don't have a tool that you need, you're going to have to go get it. And in that situation, like with my bus, of course, as we're getting older, I'm losing the strength that I used to have. I can no longer carry people. I struggle just to pick up, boxes that are heavy. But I needed to get like a breaker bar, which is this long tool, and to give me some more leverage to push down and get those bolts off. With our job, we need those kinds of tools. We need people that have expertise in this, access for this, who can help us get our messaging across, help us get bills introduced, bills passed, and help us get we need this. And that's how we can excel and get our job done. I will get this done today. I got both sides off, both brake shoes off, the cylinder off, the star wheel adjusters off. And now I just got to order the parts. And when they come in, I know I'm going to have problems on one side because the spindle that holds the tire on is loose, which means the bearings are bad. So I'm going to have to get another part and who knows, another tool. So know that even though that he's trying really hard, there's still a learning curve, right? And you're going to make mistakes and you just got to figure out, get yourself picked up and figure out how to fix it. And he's got a good team. Just give him a chance to get that moving and figure out what things need to be fixed and how to fix them. Look, we didn't start this fight yesterday. We started our fight 5 years ago. And truly, if this was something we could have fixed in a year, which God, I really hoped we could have. And if you ask Mike Tambasco, he and I still joke, because when I put this group together, And I said, hey, don't worry, Mike, come out and help me. This should only be 6 months. I mean, this is a no-brainer, I said to him. Mike, are you listening? If Mike is in here, he's going to laugh his ass off. And so I said, it's a no-brainer. The city council's Democratic majority. Medicare is a Democratic Party platform. 6 months, that's all I really need from you. Then you can go back into retirement. Almost 6 years, 5 years later, Mike and I will joke. How long is that going to take, man? 6 months? So just give the guy some time. I know he's trying, and he really does care, and he does care about his retirees. So hopefully that made you chuckle a little bit, and give anyone like that a chance, because you'll also have new union leaders that don't really understand your fight. And if they're willing to listen to you, even the old ones, if they all of a sudden have an interest and they're willing to listen, then entertain that. Don't push them away. That's what you want to encourage, right? So, I mean, there's going to be some hard-headed, kikutsas. Yes, I'm growing kikutsas as well. They're outside. They haven't started to sprout yet. But you're going to have those that are just not going to care, because they don't ever want to admit that they were wrong. Not that I need you to admit that you were wrong. You could just say, you know what? I think we could try to do this better. I'll go, okay. Let's work on that together. It's called collaboration. But yes, long fight, and we're here for the long haul. You better. You're an incredible person, which has a special outlook of life. Look, that's been getting kicked in the head. And every time I get kicked in the head, makes me angrier and want to get more. So, yeah, look at it that way. I believe we'll get this done. I believe we will. So it just takes a little bit more time. So I'm beyond impressed, incredibly intelligent, works on our own vehicles. Okay, so the old ones I could work on. My car, like my daily car, I cannot work on. That is, everything's electronic, and I'm afraid of putting it on fire. But my bus is like a 1971 Volkswagen bus, and there's nothing electronic on that. You could change anything you want on it. It's just a matter of doing. And literally, I'm sitting there, and I'm not kidding you. I'm going to show you how I learned this. So people joke with me, and I said, I got started great with my friend Alan and his wife Irene the other day came over to help me get started, and they did. And then they told me what I had to do, so I would do it by myself. Now, there's a really great company called Just Campers, and they're based, I think, out of England. And so, here's a video. I'll see if I can I put that on my phone? Yeah.
And then literally just clicking through each one.
So, these little videos will show you how to...
Remember, one way makes the shoes come back towards you, and one way makes them go out towards the drum.
How to do whatever I need to do. And so I'm watching this video, and he's showing me what to do and get these little spring. Let me shut the volume down. But he'll show you how to get the springs off, and I had to do all of that. And so I'll watch it, might watch it twice. Then I stop and I try to do it. And if I screw it up, it's not working, I go back and try it again. And he's using a special tool to get those springs off, but I was able to do it with a pair of pliers and save myself from buying another thing. But yes, I'll joke. I'm a YouTube trained mechanic because I never had to do mechanical shit, but I'm non-union, unfortunately. And if I was a union mechanic, I'd probably be pretty well off. But you could learn anything. Yes, Google for Dummies 101. You could find anything you want. My aunt was trying to teach me how to crochet. I am not capable. So you all ask me, what is there that you can't do? I can't do that. Or there's a thing called tatting where she makes these lace doilies. Yes, I still have grease on my fingernails. But I can't do that. And she sent me to YouTube to try to learn, and it just doesn't work. So yes, but YouTube will show you, and you can see how their hands go. And I still can't do that. I just can't do it. But this was pretty cool. And there's plenty of people out there that have videos that will show you how to do something from all over. And then the Volkswagen Club. So that was what started that Monday or Tuesday. yesterday, it was Volkswagen Old Timers Day. So all the old folks, yes, I went with them. We drove into like a couple towns down. There's this little pub and we hung out. So I'm really trying to relax if you get that message. And we went out to a bar and they were all parking. We all meet at the parking lot to try to do something together, like to drive in a caravan together. Let me see if I have that photo to show you. And I'll put some of these up because I didn't put them up yesterday. But as we were driving along. It was kind of neat. It was a country road. Can you see that? Probably not. So we're kind of driving and I'm having some technical difficulties, but you could see that. Yeah, there we go. So this car is a Tribby, and it is a German car. It's a 2-stroke engine. This guy is kind of crazy because he has to mix his fuel. It's kind of like a big weed eater. It's a 2-stroke engine, and he has to mix the fuel and the oil. But we got together, and you'll see like the buses. Maybe turn it sideways. You can see a little bit more. And we'll all get together and have lunch together and whatever. And so you've got Beatles and a bunch of Beatles and a couple of buses, and we just all go out to lunch together. So it was just a way to try to enjoy the day. So when I'm telling you to get out and relax and do some stuff, I'm not kidding you. Try to get out. So my week this week was really, it was a struggle to try to get out and to try to relax and find things, with my friends to do that wasn't dealing with this 24/7, because this really can drive you crazy dealing with a lot of stupid people. So let's take a quick peek at Instagram and see who's over there. Arepo says, I know Dennis well. I worked with him for 5 years. I took his place in I guess that's Brooklyn 5 Garage Shop Steward. He needs guidance. You can help him see the way. Hi, Chucky Diaz. So Chucky, you got a friend over here on Instagram, Arepo5912. I don't know who that is, but he's saying hello. Falu807, Mariana, I voted for you as New York City judge this past September. You did. Tell me what district so I could go look that up. I have to go look at that. I bet you can do that too. I don't know, but if you're still on, tell me what district. I will go look. That is so funny. I think there was one time when we looked at all the council write-in votes. I was a write-in in the last two city council elections ago for like 17 districts. It was hysterical. But yeah, you guys were basically saying like you had no faith in the people that were there. But yes, and in order for me to get elected to that position, I have to live in that district. I think it was like by the time of the election or something. So I'd very quickly have to borrow one of your sofas, I guess. Laura, I'm trying to be more positive and not so tight about Mamdani, but I keep feeling the clock's ticking for the right decisions to be implemented on the budget. I'll make sure to try to enjoy the moment like you do. Look, here's my fear. If you read City and State today, and I texted this to a few people this morning, my concern there is that he has walked back several of his positions. So Holly Pretsky wrote on social media today, on day one, Mamdani repealed all of the executive orders Eric Adams signed after he got indicted. But Mamdani's second action quietly reinstated half of them. It wasn't the first time Mamdani followed in Adams' footsteps while slamming his legacy or his last. Now, if you go to City and State and you look up Holly's article, it's Zohran Mamdani may not like Eric Adams, but he's making many of the same choices. The mayor changes. The complex problems facing the city do not. I'm just going to read you start of it so you get where this is going. On his first day as mayor, and this came out today at 5 a.m., it's in City and State. On his first day as mayor, Zohran Mamdani signed a pointed executive order reversing all of the executive orders his predecessor enacted on or after September 26 of 2024. That was the day former Mayor Eric Adams was federally indicted on corruption charges, a date that marked a moment that when many New Yorkers decided that politics held nothing for them, Mamdani said. This first action was a huge fuck you that drew attention to the lowest point of Adams' one-term mayoralty and sought to assure New Yorkers that this new mayor would be different. But Mamdani's second executive order hinted at more complicated dynamic between the two mayors. That second, much longer structure of Mamdani's administration, and that's how it was described in his press release, but also quietly reinstated half of the 20 executive orders from Adams that Mamdani had just repealed. It was not the first time Mamdani tacitly decided to continue what Adams started while slamming his legacy, and it's certainly not the last either. Though he rode into office on a wave of socialist enthusiasm and a distaste for the incumbent mayor, Mamdani has, in many significant ways, carried on in Adams' footsteps. He does this while taking swipes at Adams again and again, most notably in January when he branded the city's fiscal budget gap as Adams' budget crisis, though the gap has shrunk from an estimated $12 billion to less than $5 billion. And since then, Mamdani said 3 months in office have given him no new sympathy for the ex-mayor. Now, remember, this article does also go into all of the things that he walked back that he promised on, where it was the ending the control of the schools. He's flipped back on the housing vouchers. So these are things of where you're watching him walk back some of these issues that he campaigned on that he would be different to then moving back into the same thing. Now, if he's willing to do that and walk back what he promised, here's the concern. Is he also going to walk back on his previous statements about retirees' health care? And I have no faith in that he won't do that. So without him, he's committing the things that he's flipping back on, he campaigned on. He didn't really touch our issue, and he wouldn't even speak with us. But if he was willing to walk back a campaign issue, he's willing to walk back on our issues. And the peripheral statements that he's made about Medicare Advantage. And we haven't even even addressed the copay issue. So Jim is doing a great job helping Vicky Palladino. Now, I've been following that. So very interested in that case is where the city council decided to charge Vicky with some ethics charges, and that he pretty much destroyed that in court. Now, the interesting thing about that is part of what the city council was saying was that they didn't want to support us because it would end up in litigation. Here, the lawyer for the city basically admitted that they kind of jumped the gun on this one, and that they'd done something that they'd never done before. Well, if they felt the need to do that and then address it in a different way legally, then there should be no reason why they shouldn't support our legislation. So let's see what happens with that. Right, and he walked back the buses. So this article does go on, but I don't want to read this here. You guys can read it by yourself, but you're getting the point of what I'm trying to make. If he's willing to walk back something that he campaigned on, and he had his, one-liners on, and his posters on, and his social media on, if he's willing to walk back to something he promised he said he would do, he's going to walk back on something that he never really did commit to fixing in the first place, which is our issue. So unless I get something from him, a meeting with him, an issue that's addressed, he has a full statement, powerful statement that he's committing something to us, I have really no faith that he'll stand up to protect us or be there when the time is needed. He's at this point really desperate in trying to figure out where the hell the next buck is going to come from. And that's just because they haven't done the work to begin with. I'm going to have to say this. It's pretty screwed up how some activists are running around blasting anyone who dares to criticize Mamdani for the way he's ignored vital issues now impacting growing numbers of valuable populations. Guess one of the things these so-called activists aren't concerned about is what's left is our freedom of the press. Maybe they should listen to Joe Maniscalco on your past Monday radio show. And yes, To hear Joe say that they've reached out several times, that they're literally being ignored by the mayor's administration. And this is the hard part, right? Like they're coming in saying that they would be the factors of change. They want to do things differently. They want to have more transparency. They want to have more communication. We're not seeing that. And neither is the press either. But I'll tell you, the decimation of the press and the independent journalists is not just New York City. And not just on our issue. This is happening statewide, nationwide, worldwide. You're watching like news outlets, CBS, CNN, what's that paper? Washington Post, where they're being decimated. The Washington Post literally fired all of its international correspondents while they were away. So this is why it's really important to support independent journalism. So let me take a quick peek over on Instagram and seeing if there's anything over there. Oh, they didn't post your ballot. Aw. So I'm going to call it a night. It's an hour we're at this, and there's really nothing more to chat about. I've given you everything. I will do that flyer for you. I will get the fundraiser up. I will send out the newsletter. Remember, tomorrow is early voting for the special districts. Layla Logistico, who came at the top of our show. This is Layla. If you are in Lower Manhattan District 3, she is a supporter of you. She has events tomorrow. Please make sure you find your voting site, get out and vote tomorrow. She is the only candidate in that district, the other that is supporting our issue. The other candidates have not responded to us, have not reached out to us, and are not behind this issue, including Eric Bottcher's former chief of staff. So please make sure you support Layla if you are in District 3. She is committed to helping us with this issue. So you guys have a great, great weekend. Thank you for supporting us. Yes, and when you see the flyer that I'm going to send out on the fundraiser, I just got to design it first, so give me a little while. I will get that done tonight. Put that out on your socials. Encourage people who have been watching these wins that we have had and the work that we're doing to protect their healthcare to donate for the first time, and encourage them to be a recurring donor, even if it's $10 a month to start, till they're comfortable to seeing that they could rely on us and be a consistent donor to our cause. It's the only way. So we would be really, really happy if we could do that, because then that means that we can now fight both sides. It's time to put this to bed. It's time to finalize this protection for retirees, both in the city and the state. And we need fresh donors to do that. I am not asking current donors to donate more. I am asking to help me get people who have been watching you and donate, and our organization succeed in all these wins and not participate in fighting. The only way we can win, only way, is if we're able to finance the needs that we need going forward and make sure that our legislation is passed in the city and the state. So yes. Yeah, COPE was $250 a month. So there were many people in the UFT that stopped paying COPE to the UFT because that money was being used against you, and used our COPE, retiree COPE link. I don't think I still have that handy, but we would need more than $2.50 a month as a sustaining donor to the organization. So that the $10 figure, $15, $20 is really where we kind of need to be with new donors. I will find both of those and I will put them also in the newsletter so you have them as other options. But yes, absolutely. Thank you for everything that you guys do, because without you, we wouldn't be here. And now our next goal is to try to get more of our colleagues and friends that are not donating to donate to us as well, so that we can now move this into the final leg. That way you could watch me do videos on my bus instead of sitting here. All right, guys, I love you very much. You have a great weekend, and you'll hear from me hopefully within the next couple of hours. I will get the flyer up, and then the newsletter. If I don't get it done today, I will get that done tomorrow. Tomorrow also, we have, let me just find out where that is. I think it's tomorrow at 8:00, I think, is the operators. Actually, I know where to find that. Oops. I just want the time, because that's the one thing that's throwing me off. Let's see. Yeah, nope, I'm sorry. It's at 5 p.m. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. on YouTube. I will post the link to that. And it's Operators on the Loose is the handle on YouTube. And they'll be live streaming that. We'll be helping the transit retirees tomorrow. So with a group of some of their active workers as well. So this is really cool because we're getting some of these active workers and their retirees together to help advocate. So you guys have a great, great weekend. I appreciate all of you, and ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are.